Guess what, my friends? Instagram finally revealed how their recommendation algorithm works as part of what they call a multi-part series on explaining this whole weird mess that nobody knows what it's about called the Instagram algorithm. Now, I've been meaning to make this video for quite some time already. Here's the thing, though, all of a sudden I found myself lying flat on a hospital bed. So, had to wait. Happens, I guess. But here's where it gets interesting, my friend. Moziri, the head of Instagram, published the article on June 8th. A few days later, I wanted to make some research for this video here, but they deleted the article. You know, all traces were gone. I had a copy on my file, my computer, but what in the world? Why? Anyway, now it seems to be back online, and I did some digging, and it seems like they didn't change anything, and who knows what was wrong. Probably somebody just lost their nerves, and somebody lost a job. You know, if you need a job and you've been working at Instagram, call me. I need some intel, my friends. Anyway, if you've been a dominator, a subscriber of this channel for a few months already, you probably know all of the things that they talked about in this algorithm explanation blog post already. Probably you know it even in a more in-depth kind of way, because we made some videos talking about the algorithm. We talk about the algorithm quite a bit. Also, my free training, you know, down below, hint, wink, that's free. We also talk a lot about the Instagram algorithm, how this whole thing works. But anyway, let's take a look into this article, dissect it a little bit, and maybe even write a little bit between the lines, my friends. Shedding more light on how Instagram works by our friend Adam Moziri on June 8th. Like I said, it was deleted and then it went back online again. Nobody knows why. So they say it's hard to trust what you don't understand. Is that some passive aggressiveness here on your part, Adam? It's really hard to understand what you don't understand. There's a lot of misconceptions out there, which is very true. And basically, this part will explain how does Instagram decide what shows up for me first. You know, basically the recommendation thing. What is the algorithm? You know that already. It's not one algorithm. We have multiple algorithms. You know, there's not one algorithm, it's multiple algorithms. They say they use a variety of algorithms, classifiers, processes, each with its own purpose. We want to make most of your time, as you know, reading between the lines. I hate the blue. We want to make most of your time, you know, which means optimize for happiness, what we always say. And we believe that using technology, blah, 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 is the best way to do it. They also go saying that before the algorithm, because there's always people ranting about the algorithm saying, I want to go back to the chronological feed. Well, it used to be great in 2015 because there was not billions of users already on Instagram. Now, bad. 4 or 5 years ago, people were already missing 70% of all their posts in feed just because of the way the chronological feed works, because there's just so many people there. Now, each part of the ad feed, Explore Reels, and some other things, they all have their own algorithm tailored, to how to use it. There's a little bit more even that we're not going to cover in this video, like the penalty algorithms. If you want to know more about this, watch the free training down below. And basically, they rank things differently in different parts of the app based on how people use them. Right, so far so good. So let's dive in. It's gonna be a long one, I guess. How they rank feed and stories, right? This is what people want to know the most. And this is what people have a lot of issues with, namely the engagement and the reach. And you want to make sure, obviously, that you get more, you get ranked on feed and stories better. They start by defining the set of things we plan to rank in the first place. With feed and with stories, this is simple. It is all the recent posts shared by the people that you follow, right? So, mostly people that you follow. Then they take a look at what you posted in your feed or in your stories, meaning your content, your story, or your feed post, or whatever it is. Then they take a look at yourself, who made those posts, you, and your preferences. And they say they call these signals. I also don't like the yellow. I just have to say that. What about black? Yeah, whatever. Let's stick with black. Signals. This is a very interesting thing that they call it signals, because me, having modeled the Instagram algorithm for the past years, I also call these things signals, so interesting. And they say there's thousands of different signals. They include everything from what time this was posted to whether you're using a phone or the web and how often you like videos. right? So they group everybody and everything into different categories. They even, like I said, they know if you're on the web, they know if you're on the phone, they know if you use a bot, they know everything about you. They even say here, they track how often you like videos. And this is a big thing, and we can read between the lines right here. If your audience, if in your niche, the majority of the people like videos, like to watch videos, just because it's a trend, just because that's what people do on on average more, then you better be off creating videos. But if, because we always say, right now videos is the hot topic to go into. But let's just say you do your competitor research. You take a look at your audience, your niche out there, and you see, well, the big players and all of the emerging players, they don't use videos. They use, for example, carousels or something like this. And this is where they get the most engagement from. Well, obviously then for you, this doesn't matter, the video things, right? Then for you, you have to optimize based on what you know what your audience is about. But let's not get too deep. Like I said, down below there's a free training. Free, just so you know. The most important signals across feed and stories, roughly in order of importance, are information about the posts. These are signals both about how popular a post is, think how many people have liked it, and more mundane information about the content itself. Think about content algorithm, image detections, the hashtags that are in there, the caption, them just understanding what your post is about, or when it was posted, how long it is, if it's a video, what location, and stuff like that. Just in general, what is this whole thing about? Then they take into consideration about the person who posted this. In this case, it's you. This helps us get a sense for how interesting the person might be to you, right? Talking about categories, talking about your niche, right? If you have a clear niche, it's a lot easier for the algorithm to get information about the person who posted this. Then they take a look at how many other people have interacted with you as an account in the past few weeks, right? Then they take a look at your own activity. They let's just say this is you. They take a look at what did you like, what did you share, what did you DM, right? Then they can look, okay, is this post a post that you might be interested in based on your activity, in the post, for example, how many posts that you liked, whatever. And then your history of, I need another color, it seems like, your history of interacting with, for example, this person. This gives them a sense of how interested you are generally in seeing posts from a particular person. This is why it's so important to always optimize your content to get interactions, right? We're gonna see what that is in a few seconds, but if people just quickly scroll by and just give you a like, probably not enough anymore. So you really want to hit it off. You really want to, talking about audience development. They say an example is whether or not you comment on each other's posts. Apparently, and this is also something that's, hidden between the lines. They say that feed posts are where people want to see content from their friends, family, and those they're closest to, right? So apparently if somebody comments back or follows back or likes back, obviously this is going to be good for both of them. But yeah, you can't always have that. You can't have everybody follow you back. Then, and this is where it gets interesting, then they make a set of predictions. They say they're educated guesses at how likely you are to interact with a post in different ways. There's roughly a dozen of these. In feed, the 5 interactions we look at the most closely are how likely you are to spend a few seconds on a post. What did I predict all the way, my friends? How long, more than 2, 3, 4 seconds is important to keep, get people out of their autopilot. Comment on it, like it, save it, and tap on the profile photo. Right? And this is exactly what you want to optimize. First of all, autopilot, then get people to interact with it, comment, save, share, and then tap on the profile picture. Because if they do all of this and tap on the profile picture, they're really interested, right? And if you can do this, if you optimize your content like this, you're going to be ranked way above, getting your reach way up. The more likely you are to take action, the more heavily we weigh that action. The higher up you'll see the post, obviously. Also, they say there's a few cases where they have kind of different sets, what they're looking at. For example, they avoid showing too many posts from the same person in a row. Or they say stories that were reshared from their feed to the stories. Until recently, we talked about this in a video, basically. They ranked it down, but now they don't rank it down anymore. At least they say. We're gonna see. Could be that just for some things they don't rank it down. For example, if there's, if there's some big events, big moments, I think this is when they don't really, rank it down. But if it's just some random meme, I think they might still rank it down. Just my educated guess, if you will. Also, if you post something that may jeopardize another person's safety, they may step in. They say they have community guidelines. Obviously, we know that you have to adhere to their community guidelines. Some were kind of weird, to be honest, but yeah, there you go. Also, this is the only thing where what I kind of disagree with. I understand that on paper this is a good idea, but we have seen recently even that sometimes these third-party fact checkers are actually not independent or are wrong, just flat out wrong. I don't even know. Turns out 3 months later, the fact checkers were wrong. So, I don't have trust. I have trust issues with you fact checkers now, just so you know. Also, if you've posted misinformation multiple times, we may make all of your content harder to find, all right? You know what that is? The real shadow ban. They say this is not a thing, really, the shadow ban. They have something down there below, but yeah, it is a thing, and they wrote it in there. Anyway, that was it for part 1. There's gonna be a second part in a few days talking about the Reels algorithm, the Explore page algorithm, and a little bit about the shadow ban. So I'll see you guys then.